So I'm never sure how to do this, especially now trying with the tripod, but we are going to make my version of Mrs. Bright's chocolate cake from the Mysterious Shrinking House. I say my version because I am going to, I think, put Cool Whip in between the layers. And so we will see how it works out. But if you watched my Halloween video with the cupcakes, we're going to use the same basic recipe. The only difference is I didn't buy fresh buttermilk. I am going to use the dried buttermilk, which you can just scoop in with your dry ingredients, and then when you add in your wet, just be sure to add an extra cup of water. So that is what we are going to do, and yeah, let's just get to it. Alright, I did the toothpick test and they are both done, so I am going to pull them out and let them cool. Alright, so moment of truth. I pulled these out of the oven and I left them to cool for a few minutes. It's still pretty hot, but I want to get them onto plates, and then I'm going to let them finish cooling and I think freeze them for a little while so that they will be easier to frost later on this afternoon. But definitely moment of truth, because I'm not really sure if they'll release. I guess we will find out. Hopefully. Oh, look at that, it did. And hey, there's cake to eat in that cake where it spilled over from the parchment, which I am not all that good at this whole cake making thing. You know what? That's all right, though. Interesting ridge in that. I think just from the thing. But, you know what? I will take it. And I think I've mentioned before that icing and filling fixes a lot of issues. And the important part will be the taste, which, oh God, that's good. That is really, really good. It's very chocolatey and very moist, kind of light, very, very good. All right, so I'm going to let these cool until they are not radiating heat. And then I'm going to move them to the freezer for a couple hours so that they get nice and solid so that I can ice them. And we will be back to do that later. All right, for this one, I decided to just go a little crazy and use some of these Andes mint chips and some Cool Whip. I thought about making homemade whipped cream to fill this cake with, and then I remembered that A, I didn't have any cream, and B, it's not all going to be eaten in like a day, because there's only 2 of us here, so it's going to take a little bit to get this eaten. So I decided on Cool Whip because it is a stabilized whipped cream and it won't fall apart as easily. So, oh, that smells so good. I might be drooling a little just from the smell. Alright, and then I think I'm going to sprinkle some more of the mint chips on top after I get it iced. So I am going to get my very pretty plate that nobody's going to see anyway because it's going to be under cake. And I'm going to get my round cakes that hopefully will hold together now that they have been frozen. Although if it all falls apart, it all falls apart, right? Life goes on and all of that. Well, it looks good, I think. And we are just going to plop all of this Cool Whip on here. I probably ended up using too much, but you know what? It's going to be very, very creamy. Hopefully this tastes as good as the idea is in my head. I think it will. We're just going to spread the Cool Whip all over this top layer, or middle layer, or whatever layer this is. I don't even know. Don't listen to me, I babble a lot. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get our next layer. That is a lot of Cool Whip. I'm going to have to either refreeze that or think of something else to make with Cool Whip. I think this is the one that has the crack in it. Probably should thin the bottom layer. Maybe not. And we are going to make a giant sandwich out of layers of cake. Awesome. We're going to try and even it up a little bit. It looks like a giant Oreo cookie. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of neat. And then we're just going to ice it. Alright, I thought I would give my final thoughts on the cake. I ended up editing and cutting out most of the footage of making the book version of the cake because it just wasn't very good footage, and honestly it kind of turned out a little bit lopsided and sad looking, but if you look closely, it has all of the layers. I let it chill overnight in the refrigerator. I know some people do not put their cake in the refrigerator. I always have. I just like it better that way. If you try this, you will find out that this has got the perfect crumb, and I think that's from the coffee and probably the buttermilk and all of those other really good things. It is so chocolatey. And I'm not sure if you're not into chocolate or not into 25 million layers of chocolate all at once. The other cake that I made that's in the video with the Cool Whip layer is really nice because it gives just sort of a light kind of break to the chocolate in it. And then throwing the Andes mint pieces in was honestly a stroke of genius on my part. I'm going to toot my own horn there because it was really, really good. And I don't know if the passage in chapter 3 will have been read yet or not, but I figured I would read the whole reason I wanted to make this cake. And then you'll either have heard it already or will hear it again when I put this out. But Mrs. Bright cut another slice of the rich, dark cake. It was Mindy's 4th, counting dessert at home. But Mrs. Bright's layer cakes were, Mindy felt for sure, the best in the world. Where else did you find layers of icing almost as thick as the layers of cake? Now, I cheated. My cake layers are very, very thin, which makes it much, much easier to have layers of icing as thick as the layers of cake. But, yeah. I am going to end this video here. I am going to go and enjoy this with a nice hot cup of coffee. And I will probably, I'm not going to regret it. It tastes too good to regret. My waistline might regret it, so I'm not going to eat too much of it. Although, I am going to eat this whole piece. But no matter what, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I will talk to you later. I think our next food thing is probably going to be something from the James Herriot series. Haven't decided which thing I want to attempt, but it will be something from James Herriot, I do believe. Or it might also be what one of my viewers, Mopsy J, she recommended to me that maybe, since I have not deep fat fried anything since I was a teenager, maybe I should try making myself some apple fritters before I commit to attempting to do fish and chips. So I might do that, and if I do, I'll probably film it. But no matter what, will I go off and enjoy the heck out of this layer cake. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you later.